Hello, welcome to Flory Models Kit Review Time. Today we've got Roden's 1/32nd scale bird dog, or the L-19 01 or 01 bird dog. Who can forget the film? Bat 21 absolutely made this aircraft, seeing it whiz around. Forward air controlling aircraft, obviously Vietnam War, very iconic, and nice to see it hasn't been overlooked. Obviously we always get the big powerful modern jets and the heavy bombers, and we forget sometimes about the little aircraft, and this one's certainly been overlooked for many years, but we've seen it recently in different scales, so we thought we'd have a look at it here at the 1/32nd kit. So quick run around the box. As we can see, beautiful sort of box art. We've got a Sky Raider in the background after a run doing what it actually does. Normally it would carry either light rockets or smokers to actually designate the target area to be striked by further aircraft. Okay, so looking around on the box, it's that typical sort of Roden thing. We've got everything in multiple languages, obviously talking about the bird dog down in here. We're doing its spotting duties. A little bit on the side. Okay, we got the actual two markings we've got down here. Again, something nice little thing. We've actually got one from Da Nang, as we'd expect, sort of 1966, but also we got one as a training aircraft at Fort Rookera in 1964. So very nice to see that one down on there. Okay, so part number for this, which I'm struggling to see. Does it have a part number? Do they actually give them part numbers, Roden? I'm looking, I can't see one. Oh yeah, 619 is your part number for this one, your kit number. Right, as we can see, if that's going to stay, I don't know, it's looking a bit iffy. There we go, that's better. We have a piece of cardboard. I'm not sure if, yeah, a bit weird. And as you can see, you've got quite a big box with a little aircraft running around inside. I did actually wonder, with the size of the box, what we're going to find down in here. But there we go, we have that one. We have a little receipt down there as well. Okay, so as we can see, Roden, what do we know about Roden? Roden's been around a long time. They actually tackle, I would say, quite quirky subjects, but they do some real mainstream stuff that's really overlooked. We was looking at Fokker DR1 in 32nd scale. They are the only manufacturer for it. Generally though, some of their kits in the past have been absolute nightmares to work with. The Mohawk, I've built that particular kit. It wasn't very nice to go together at all. Other things I know people have built in the past have had no problems with it at all. So again, certain aircraft giving a better build, shall we say, than others. Right, in here this is sealed, so we're going to have to cut our way into the old instructions. Get these out. There we go. So, usual thing with Roden, we've got the black and white folded sheet, as we can see down on here. So usual thing, running through, we've got the actual trees down there, no problem at all. We've got colour call outs, as we can see, and then straight off into the actual build. So down on here, we're straight away into the engine, a very nice detailed engine, as we can see, with various parts. So speeding that up, we can put a little bit of wiring in there, things like that, really to make that pop. Undercarriage, okay, and then we're working down into the actual cockpit area itself. So down in here, we've got some of the little framework going together. We've got the seat, the instrument panel, things like that being fitted in, as you can see through. Then we've got the engine mounting for the actual engine being fitted in as well. Okay, so then down inside the actual cockpit area, you've got the floor pan going in, the controls. We've actually got twin controls as well, front and rear, and again the seat being fitted down in there. Rudder pedals literally just poking to the ground, as you can see. Then we've actually got on there, which is that a wing? I don't know. It's the wing. Must be a tailplane. Tailplanes. That's the ones for that. Okay, down there on there, and then denoting opening up some holes. So we've got various holes being fitted down in there. Sorry, this area here is the aerial, isn't it? That's what I was getting confused with. Sticking it at the back, be for the HF aerial system being fitted down on there. And then usual thing, we've got a glass being pushed in to the outside, and we've got the door latches and things being fitted on from the inside. Tail wheel being fitted in there. Exhaust going onto the engine, opening up more holes, 1mm holes everywhere. This has obviously got a few little lumps and bumps and aerials and things like that under the underside, and then exactly the same on the other side. Windows being fitted in. I assume you can have those open or closed if you want to. Usually it has a sort of split fold out open top part. Two halves going in with the actual engine system and the actual cockpit as well, sandwiching it all together as you might expect. Then we've got obviously a posable rudder at the back, and tail planes all moulded in one, being fitted down onto there. Quite a nice touch. The rocket pods being fitted on there. Looks like we've got two rocket pods twins fitted like that one. Okay, fitting those down onto there, as you can see. Then we've obviously got multiple little clear parts for the windows, front and rear, going to go onto the top, as that will be of the actual roof system. Opening up the aerial port as well, because obviously you've got a nice long whip aerial going to be hanging out the top of that. Okay, nav lights going on, and obviously landing lights being fitted in. Okay, over to the last one. I'm hoping these are going to be posable, maybe with a little work. It's not showing them as posable, but it wouldn't be rocket science to make those posable, to have the flaps in the down position if you wanted it like that. And then obviously what we've got is the hooks, for the lifting hooks being fitted to the back, and obviously that big old wing section just down on the top. We've got the struts being fitted, and then obviously we've got the cowling area around the actual engine itself. Again, just easy to open these up to have it shown. It's not showing it as open, but it'd be an easy job just to have that up. Then we're putting in the lumps, bumps, aerials, all the communications set for the actual aircraft itself. Then you've got your colour call out. So as you said before, we've got the training one from Fort Rookera. Again, very nice colours, things like that, just down on there. Or we've actually got one out of Da Nang in that standard Air Force grey of the era, with all the aerials and lumps and bumps, as you can imagine, right the way over it. Really is an interesting subject, I must admit. This is one of those ones where you could easily get involved with it. Now, I must admit, we are going to try the wipe test to see if we can get this off. What we got down here is obviously the decals, no problem at all, but they look, if I'm honest, nasty. They look very, very gritty in the printing. Again, I'm just wondering, we've got over here, you might be able to see it, like a greyness to it. I'm just going to wet my finger and see if we can polish it off, or if it's properly in there. I think it's properly in there. It is. It's not exactly the best printing job on these. Now, it's not all lost, because technically it's a bit faded all over it and worn and torn. It's the way it's printed. It's like it's dot printed onto it from a printer rather than silkscreen printed. You could probably get away with that as weathering. As sorry as that sounds, I would probably just use those and make them look faded in and things. Usual things with it, you can go over it with a mild or a soft sanding stick just to get the decals just to wear and tear and things like that, or even chipping them. Let's face it, if you're going to be going for this sort of, you know, in theatre look, they're going to get quite heavy treatment. They are flying at low level, slow and low, and all the rest of it, so they are going to wear down quite quickly. So from that point of view, you could probably get away with it. But again, the yellow ones are a little bit, yeah, hit and miss as well. I wouldn't say they're the best looking decals either. They're quite patchy in appearance with the colouring. It's not a strong, solid colour right the way through. But again, I think you could easily get away with that and calling it weathering, which, you know, I know it's a cop-out, but you know, you have the cards you've been dealt, you sort of deal the best you can with it, unless you obviously wanted to go down the aftermarket route. Okay, so let's have a look. So one bag, a couple of bits of wire in there. We got a couple of, I'm assuming that's bits of plastic, that's fine. Clear parts. Again, clear parts running around in here is never a good thing. So looking at the plastic, actually, nicely done. Okay, we've got no riveting detail on this whatsoever. If we try and catch it in the light, you can see we've got beautiful, strong, recessed panel lines. When I say strong, we're probably okay in this scale, but you know, they do get, you know, they're quite heavy up here, and as you make your way on the corner to the bottom, they do fade out. And to be honest, the underside is textured really heavily. It's very, very gritty on the underside of this mold. Okay, but actually the side sections really very, very nicely done. Good, strong plastic as well. Okay, and then looking around on the inside, you see we've got a little bit of interior detail down in here, and actually the areas have been nicely polished. I know it sounds funny, but they're nicer polished on the inside than they are the outside. But again, you know, looking around at some of the details, we've got these areas at the back and everything else, very, very nice indeed. It is completely devoid of any riveting detail whatsoever, but let's face it, it's nice and easy, nice big flat surfaces. It wouldn't take much to come in here, whip around with a riveter for maybe an hour, and you've got something fully upgraded then up to a very nice level. And especially if you're going to be doing it in the grey scheme, things like that, go in, it will take a wash beautifully, just gives it that extra level of detail and make it pop. The only thing is, like down in here, we've actually got this little circle. Obviously it's an access panel, again very strong on the sides. You get to the top and yeah, it's gone. Again, not exactly what you would really want to see, but again, it's only a little job, pop around it, rescribe it, you'll be fine. It's just this underside texture is really, you can probably even hear it. Hear the difference? You can hear the difference in that. It's, to be honest, it has the texture of like anti-slip in 1/35 scale, if I'm honest. But again, it is just top and bottoms on the mould. But apart from that, clean, crisp, really nicely moulded, no problem with that at all. Okay, let's have a look at the wings. Okay, so we got a few scratch marks on here and a few little things bent over, and as you can see on these where they've sort of taken a hit. But generally, as you can see, actually not too bad. Again, no riveting anywhere on this, but it won't take too much to pop all of that in. And on the undersides ones, we've got the access panels, things like that. Again, popping the riveting into that, no problem. But the plastic itself, very nicely done. Tiny, tiny little bits of flash down in here, but nothing you would really complain about. It's nice, it's clean, crisply molded. And again, you can see these scratch marks catching it in the light. This is sprue rub, and that's what I don't like about them being together. Again, this one's got away quite lightly because these little tips are still in place, but it wouldn't take much. Again, it's an oversized box for it to go through. Beautiful machining marks on the inside, but that's just the engineer side of me coming out. But that is very nicely engineered and milled out on the inside. No problems at all. Actually, really nice plastic on that one. Okay, control surfaces, beautifully raised details. Okay, so that's quite nice on that. Again, it's marginal on detail. It's got the panel lines in all the starting places, but apart from that, it is a little bit devoid of much more than actually that type of detail. But as you can see, all these raised details down on here, showing it in its true light, no problem at all with that. The instrument panel actually isn't too bad. Again, really nice starting point. Again, I think I'm going to put this in the category of needs more work, needs more detail, but actually if you want to spend a little bit of time on quite a nice little delicate subject, it's going to lend itself really nicely to just to being upgraded by a little bit of scratch building. And by that, we're just talking about a re-rivet, a little bit of wiring around here, a little bit of plastic hard work, and actually I think you could turn out with something really very, very special. Smaller parts, down as we can see here, actually really very, very nice. No problem at all with that. I can't actually see any problem with that. Even these little lifting eyes that are the ones from the roof, you can see down the bottom here. Again, beautifully done, nice symmetrical, no problem. We've got a little bit of on the actual Mac pouch. Nice little details on there, things like that. Again, the rockets, we've got burring, huge amount of burring on this, but again, it's pretty easy to take care of. No problem. Looks like little mini zoomy rockets on there. Again, very nice indeed. Sway braces, throttle quadrant, things like that. Yeah, no problem. We've got two of those, obviously one for each side, as you can imagine. And again, just down on the blind side, as you can see, no problems whatsoever. Okay, we'll do that one last, I think. Okay, so down in here we've got the seat, we've got the aerials and the prop. Again, we can see we've got actually off the burring down here on the bottom of this prop, things like that. It's going to need a little bit of clean up with a bit of a sanding stick, things like that. This hosing stuff as well is a little bit flashy, things like that. But generally, I think really that's actually very, very nicely done. Again, very nice starting position. Okay, the all-important engine. So down in here, we've got this gorgeous 6-cylinder engine on there, some actually nice details. Again, it wouldn't take much to sort of liven that up, a little bit of wiring in there to really bring that to life. And again, all the actual is that the intake? I think it's actually the intake. Again, really very nice. What is the exhaust? One or the other, but it's completely hollowed, which is very nice touch for it. And again, the sort of manifold areas coming off, things like that, beautifully done. Very, very nice. We have got a little bit of sink marks here and there on just some of these smaller parts, but it's the first I've properly seen around on here as well, so that's not too bad at all. Okay, so actually very nice. So there we go. Actually, I really like that. That is actually got the start of what I would call a really nice kit. And because it's quite big, it's 32nd scale, and the way the styling is with it is very open, it wouldn't take too much to really liven that up. If you just wanted to just, I think, bring it up to really what it needs, I think a quick re-rivet down on there, again, Rosie the Riveter, or just doing it by hand, wouldn't take too much to pop those in. You've got a bit of a mixture around the front, raised riveting with recessed riveting down the back, things like that. But generally, I think it wouldn't take really too much work to do it, and it would be well well worth spending, you know, a couple of shifts or, you know, a couple of hours re-riveting it and actually adding raised rivets just to bring it up to that standard. And then again, on the interior, if you wanted to just pop around and add a little bit of junk in there, you know, things like that, personal items, personal effects, maps, stuff like that, it's very open, so you can see right in there. Again, it lends itself very, very nicely to this scale. Again, smaller scales, you're not going to see too much in there, but generally, I think you really will see quite a lot of detail in there. Almost before we forget, we have the clear parts, which, to be honest, as we can see, they're not going to fool anybody. They are pretty nasty. They're very, well, quite frankly, nasty all over. These roof ones you could probably get away with. To be honest, they're on the roof. No one really worries about that. Certainly the windscreens were always kept as clear as they could possibly be, and the side ones. We have got a little bit of flash on them, things like that going on, but generally, as you can see, you're not going to get brilliant clarity through them. What I would highly recommend is, first of all, giving them a damn good clean up, because some of this could be oil, which actually I think a lot of it could be oil. Okay, and then after that I would highly recommend dipping them. So you want to dip them into your clear gloss, let them out, double dip them, 20 minutes later do it again, let it dry over for a couple of days, and you'll be good to go. Because to be honest, the windscreen needs it, and to be honest, the side ones definitely. The rest of it you could probably get away with, but those parts are definitely in need of a little bit of TLC, shall we say, just to get them to stand up. So there we go, that is Roden's lovely 1/32 scale bird dog.